The nation now has its first new gun law on the books since last year's tragedy in Newtown, Connecticut, an extension of the ban on undetectable guns. President Obama, attending Nelson Mandela's funeral in South Africa, signed the bill using the auto pen. It does, though, fall short of what many Democrats wanted, tightening loopholes to address new 3D printing technology. But they ran into a brick wall from the gun lobby. Meantime, a new study shows states have been more successful than the feds on gun control, 21 states enacting new laws to curb gun violence, according to the Brady Campaign and Law Center to Prevent Gun Violence. California, New Jersey, Connecticut, Maryland scoring the highest, followed by New York, Massachusetts, and Hawaii. But 26 states got a grade of F. Arizona scored the lowest. Let me bring in Dan Gross, president of the Brady Campaign to Prevent Gun Violence, and psychologist Bart Rossi. Good to see both of you.
Hi. Nice to be here.
Dan, let's talk about your report card and start on the positive side. 21 states have passed laws to curb gun violence. What kinds of progress is being made?
There's tremendous progress. I mean, in fact, progress that would have been considered unthinkable to a lot of people a year ago. I mean, there are 8 states that have passed really meaningful laws like expanding Brady background checks to all gun sales. And what this study shows is that these laws matter. The 7 states with the best grades in the country also have the lowest gun death rates in the country. If the states that passed expanded Brady background checks are like the others that have universal or expanded background checks, they'll show 38% fewer deaths of women by intimate partners. So these laws work, and they're passing, and the American public, the will of the American public, is finally being heard on this issue. Still have work to do.
To that point, 26 states were given by your group a failing grade. And there's another study out there that finds slightly more gun rights bills were enacted on the state level, 74 compared to 66 restricting guns. Yeah. Are you operating at a net loss still?
No, I mean, you know, the laws that have passed have been far more meaningful to the good than the laws that have been passed that have been negative. I mean, but make no mistake, I mean, we're always swimming against the tide of the corporate gun lobby out there trying to do whatever they can to undermine sensible change on this issue. We've definitely done a lot this year, not only to stem that tide, but to make tremendous progress. Even on the federal level, you know, that Manchin-Toomey bill in April, expanding Brady background checks, that didn't pass, but 54 yes votes by 6 A-rated NRA senators. You know, it's only because of those wacky rules of the Senate that it didn't pass with a simple majority. It took the original Brady bill 6 votes over 7 years to pass. We are on the trajectory right now to create the kind of change that the American public wants, and we're going to stay at it until we get it and do what we call finish the job and pass expanded Brady background checks nationally.
Well, one of the things we heard after Newtown was that, and this is again from opponents of reform in our gun laws, this is really a mental health issue. It's not about guns. So this afternoon, Vice President Biden is going to announce that $100 million is going to be available to increase access to mental health services, including $50 million for community health centers to hire new health professionals, another $50 million to build new health facilities in rural areas. Bart, how could this help?
Well, it's a good start, Chris, but it's not enough. I think what we need to do is change the face of mental health in America. And what I mean by that is we really need to go into middle schools and high schools and have a real program. We ought to introduce mental health and psychology in grade school. I mean, I think of Adam Lanza, and I think that he was a grade school kid. Suppose he was exposed to the cognitive behavioral approaches that psychologists possess today. Suppose his mother had some training in that area as well. We might have had a different result. So we need to get the stigma away from mental health.
How do we do that, though? Because we talk about it a lot, but it's easier said than done.
I think it's going to take a generation. So if we have a curriculum change in middle school and high school, and parents participate in that, over time, in a generation, that stigma will be minimized, and we'll have less shooters. I mean, what we want to do in this society is have less shooters and have more productive kids who grow and become the individuals that they want to be. That's what we're all about, but we're not doing that. And I'm saying that we're going to have more shooters, not less, the way we're going. We have an unhealthy state of affairs here in this country vis-a-vis mental health.
There is the emotional core of this has been families from Newtown, for example, following in the footsteps of Columbine, of the folks at the movie theater in Aurora, Colorado, and of course Gabby Giffords. And we learned that her super PAC, Dan, plans to play an active role in the 2014 elections. What kind of impact can the others have, and how important will these elections be?
It's one of the most inspiring things that's happened around this issue over the last years, all the new voices that have come to it. And a lot of those people have experienced gun violence firsthand, like my family has, like Sarah Brady obviously has. But very inspiringly, a lot of those people have not. It's mothers concerned about the safety of their children. It's law enforcement concerned with the safety of our streets that they're charged to protect. Faith communities coming at this from a moral perspective. And we are confident that if we can bring all of those voices together in the unified front that we're creating, that we can make these elections in 2014 big elections.
Dan Gross, Bart Rossi, good to have both of you here. Thank you. Be careful out there. They were both fighting the snow, the midtown traffic, too, to get here. We thank you.